Welcome back, guys and gals, to Reaction Gap. Today we're going to talk about uh, wars, current, present, previous, and how that affects buyer confidence. Okay? So we are basically going to talk about how these things will affect you, me, and everyone in between. So let's get into it. Okay. So you turn on the news today, and what do you see? You see war in the Middle East, war in Ukraine, rising oil prices, global uncertainty, right? Political tension, market volatility. And while most people assume these events only affect governments and foreign policy, the reality is that it's much closer to home, to our home, where we live. It affects your wallet. It affects my wallet. It affects your retirement account. It affects your mortgage payment, either current mortgage payment or future mortgage payment if you're thinking of purchasing a home, right? And your confidence as a buyer. So the question really isn't whether these conflicts matter. They do. The question is how much? How much do they matter? So today we're looking at connection between the global conflict and the American housing market. So welcome to Reaction Gap, where our motto is question everything, always. So in the first segment, I want to talk about why buyer confidence matters, right? So before people actually buy homes, they buy into confidence. Think about it. A home purchase is one of the largest financial decisions that most people ever make. And after that, probably an auto purchase or something in those lines, right? So nobody actually wants to commit hundreds of thousands of dollars when they're actually uncertain about the future. When consumers feel optimistic, they spend. But on the other side, you know, they don't. So when they're optimistic, they spend, they invest, they buy homes. But when they feel uncertain, when you feel uncertain, you wait. Consumers wait if they're uncertain. They delay. They hesitate. That's where we are today, the market today. Not necessarily because of mortgage rates, not necessarily because of home prices, but because uncertainty creates this sort of paralysis, right? So, how does war affect the economy? Well, this might be obvious to most, Just wanted to kind of give you my input, my opinion on it, right? So most people think wars happen wherever they are. They happen over there, whether it's in the Middle East or Eastern Europe, wherever it is, it's happening over there. But economic consequences happen everywhere. And here's how it works. So global conflict erupts and it disrupts supply chains. Um, Energy markets react. Oil prices fluctuate. Shipping costs rise. Businesses become cautious or more cautious. And investors move their money into safer assets. You start seeing all these headlines about maybe you should put your money into gold and things like that. So the markets become volatile. Um, and suddenly consumers they start asking, will inflation rise again? Will rates stay higher longer? Will my job, will your job be secure? Can I really afford a home right now? You notice something? Fear, it creates a different set of questions. It creates hesitation. And hesitation slows markets, my opinion. So the psychology of buying a home, right? So folks, here's something most people or even economists miss. Because housing isn't just about math. There's so many variables. A big component of it is emotion. Two people can have the same income, the same circumstances, even live in the same city. They have the exact same down payment. Yet one buys a home and the other waits. Why is that? Confidence, right? The one buying a home, the buyer who actually believes that tomorrow will be better than today, moves forward. But on the other hand, the buyer who fears tomorrow, contemplating the end of the world, feeding into the headlines, that tomorrow may actually be worse, what does that person do? They wait, right? That's why the headlines, they matter. News affects psychology, in my opinion. Psychology affects behavior. Behavior affects markets. Again, my opinion. Now, a good gauge to make this decision is history. What does history tell us? Well, let's look at it, right? So every major crisis creates uncertainty. Every war or anything extraordinary, right? Yet housing markets, eventually they recover. Recessions, they end. Wars, God willing, end. Markets, they stabilize. And life goes on. Life moves forward. The biggest mistake many buyers make is assuming that today's uncertainty lasts forever. It doesn't. The challenge determining whether today's fear represents risk or opportunity. That's the challenge. Does it represent risk or opportunity? Because historically, some of the best buying opportunities occur when confidence is at its lowest. That's why in this market, you see these flips of homes that are, they double in price, um, because within that risk, there's an opportunity. So, what should buyers do right now? I mean, here's what concerns me, right? So, too many buyers react to headlines. They're watching headlines instead of watching their finances. You can't control, um, you can react to headlines, but you can't control it. You can't control global conflicts. You can't control politicians. You can't control international, especially international events. But what can you control? Focus on what you can actually control. How much money you save, short term and long term. Your credit scores, super important. I have a whole episode on that, and I'll put that in the description. Right? You can control your debt, your income, preparing for your mortgage, either current mortgage or your financial discipline. I mean, for your current mortgage or future proposed mortgage, right? And the most successful buyers, they don't spend all day predicting the future. They prepare for whatever outcome, multiple outcomes, right? And that's the difference, right? You can either, and I mentioned this in a lot of my videos, it's probably my favorite term to use is being proactive versus reactive, right? You can react to the moment, right? Most people, they react to emotionally, or they react to uncertainty. But the smarter people, they prepare strategically for that uncertainty. Most people focus on events. Smart people focus on outcomes or preparation for those outcomes. And most people, they ask, right, based on guidelines, headlines rather, right? I mean, smart people, they're going to ask, what if everyone else is overreacting? I mean, that's the that gap, right? You react to that space between fear and opportunity. What path are you taking? The fear path or the opportunity path? It's your choice. It's what you can control. Stay informed. It's that space where informed decisions are made through preparation, not through just simple reaction using somebody else's direction, right? Make your own. These are my opinions. It's my view, right? So my view is this: Iran conflict, it matters. The if it's still ongoing or not, I think it still is. But Ukraine conflict, that matters. That affects energy prices, so that matters. And the economic confidence, that's the result of all this. So that 100% that matters, right? But housing, the demand for housing in America, in the 250 years of America, is still incredibly strong. People still, they still get married, families, they grow, jobs change, you move, your necessities are different with those changes, right? But people still need homes. And that's why I believe that buyer confidence may slow the activity temporarily, keyword temporarily, based on headlines again. But it will not eliminate demand. Everyone has to stay strong together, moving forward, making positive, informed decisions. The real question isn't whether people will buy. The question is are they comfortable enough to move forward? Right? What do you think? You, my audience, hopefully my growing audience. Um, I mean, are these global conflicts making people nervous? Is it politics? Are buyers using uncertainty as an excuse to remain on the sidelines? I mean, I'd appreciate if you leave a comment. Leave your comments, your thoughts, your opinions below. Everything's appreciated. If you enjoyed this discussion, I'm hoping to have an informal discussion with my audience. It'll 100% help the channel to growing channel. So if you can hit like, hit subscribe, share this with someone you know that might get some knowledge from this. If you follow us, we're going to have more conversations about money, real estate, current events, the stories behind the headlines, analyzing headlines. Opinions, everybody has them, right? So thank you for those who made it till the end. Until next time. So all I say is react, think, analyze, and most importantly, question everything, absolutely everything. So thank you for your time and hope to see you again.